Hey everybody, Zach Bowers here, head of product at Tribevest, hoping everyone is having a happy and a healthy holiday season. We're stopping in today to talk about two very important features of the Tribevest platform. That's the cap table and the capital account ledger. Now, before we dive into those, I want to remind you that we love to hear from you. So if you have questions, want more clarity, or just have general feedback, reach out to us at support@tribevest.com. And again, we'd love to talk to you and hear that feedback. Now, to get to the cap table, you're going to go to your Tribe dashboard, and underneath the funding tab, you'll see cap table. What the cap table represents is a summary of each owner's capital account balance. That balance is represented here in the table and results in an ownership stake also listed on the table. Now, that capital account balance is calculated by taking in several different totals. And you can see those by expanding a row on the cap table. What you'll see is total contributions. That's how much money has the owner put into the tribe. Total distributions. That's how much money has been distributed back to that owner. And then each year, when the tribe calculates their profit and loss and allocates that to each owner, you'll see that allocation represented here underneath total profit allocation and total loss allocation. If you want to do a deep dive and better understand each of those items, you can click on Learn More and get a thorough explanation of the capital account and each of those terms to better understand how those are calculated. Now, the other side of the cap table is the cap ledger, which you'll also find underneath the funding tab. The capital account ledger is a line item representation of each of those transactions that are factored into the totals we just looked at. And so you'll see for contributions that are done through the Tribevest platform, they automatically get added to the ledger. Also, you can manually add transactions to the ledger by clicking the New button at the top. You identify the date that the transaction took place, which owner it belongs to, and then you can select from those four different categories: contribution, distribution, profit allocation, and loss allocation. This gives you full manual control over your ledger so that even contributions that are made off platform or distributions made outside of Tribevest, you can still represent and calculate and keep the cap table up to date. So once I do that and select contribution, I can assign that contribution to a funding round if it has an associated funding round on the platform. I identify how much that transaction, the dollar amount, and then I can add that to the ledger. You'll see that immediately added to the ledger. And if I go back to my cap table, you will now see that additional total factored into the overall balance on the cap table, and the equity has adjusted accordingly. Now, from the cap ledger, I can also add notes and edit any of the transaction entries if I mistakenly put the wrong information in or I need to go back and adjust something. Now, with the capital account ledger, I do have the ability to export this ledger into either a PDF or a CSV. This is useful for end-of-year taxes or any other record keeping that you might need. At any time, you can go ahead and export that full capital account ledger. So that's a quick overview of the capital account ledger and the cap table. Again, we encourage you to get onto the platform, dive in a little deeper, and let us know if you have any questions or feedback.